marvel, the Ancient One comes to the door, will he sound the thunder to keep him alive? Chapter 1. Stocks. Doctor, we succeeded. Lin Feng said to Dr. Mutant with a smile. Dr. Mutant nodded, his eyes flashing with relief. Yes, Lin Feng. Not only have you overcome the difficulties, you have also become stronger. This is just the beginning, there are more challenges waiting for you in the future. As Lin Feng gradually adapted to the energy resonance in his body, his wind energy became more refined and his control became easier. All this not only made him more confident in battle, but also put his life back on track. One day, a regular meeting was held at Avengers headquarters to discuss the latest action plan and threat assessment. At the meeting, the Black Panthers mentioned that an ancient ruin was recently discovered on the African continent, which is said to contain a mysterious power that may have a significant impact on their enemies. This ruin is very dangerous. Several expedition teams have already disappeared. Black Panther said, with a hint of worry in his tone. After Lin Feng heard this, curiosity arose in his heart, and he also felt that this was an opportunity to prove his new abilities. I am willing to find out. Black Panther glanced at him and smiled. Lin Feng, I know you are very capable, but this mission may not only require fighting, but also requires wisdom and patience. Lin Feng smiled and said confidently, then let's make a bet to see who can find the core of the ruins first and reveal its secrets. Black Panther raised his eyebrows, a hint of challenge flashed in his eyes. Okay, what are you betting on? Lin Feng thought for a while and said, if I win, you must loudly declare in the public restaurant of the headquarters that I am a stronger warrior than you. Black Panther laughed. Okay, then if I win, you have to help me be my assistant in the laboratory for a month and do whatever I ask. The two high-fived each other and decided to go to the mysterious ruins together. A few days later, Lin Feng and Black Panther arrived at their destination. This is a desolate plateau, surrounded by barren rocks and dry vegetation. In the distance, an ancient stone tablet was half buried in the sand, vaguely revealing a mysterious atmosphere. Lin Feng took a deep breath and felt the wind energy in his body vibrating slightly, seeming to react to the power of this land. Black Panther was checking the equipment aside, and after confirming that everything was ready, he nodded and motioned for Lin Feng to act together. The two began to search for clues in the ruins. Along the way, they encountered some traps, but with Lin Feng's wind power and Black Panther's agility, they easily dealt with these obstacles. Lin Feng noticed that the Black Panther moved extremely quickly and accurately, and was obviously very familiar with this area. Black Panther, you are very familiar with the terrain here. Lin Feng said with a smile. Black Panther nodded and smiled. Yes, this ruins plays an important role in the legend of our country. I heard many stories about this place when I was a child. While the two were talking, Lin Feng suddenly felt a weak energy fluctuation. He stopped, closed his eyes, and concentrated on feeling the source of the fluctuation. Seeing this, the Black Panther also stopped and looked around warily. This way. Lin Feng whispered, pointing to a hidden stone door. The two of them worked together to push open the stone door and found a long and narrow passage inside, with a faint light coming from the end of the passage. They walked in cautiously and found that the walls on both sides of the passage were engraved with ancient runes and patterns, which seemed to tell some ancient legend. These runes record the history of this ruins. Black Panther carefully studied the patterns on the wall. It seems that this was once a holy place for a powerful civilization. Lin Feng nodded and continued moving forward. Finally, they reached the end of the passage, and a huge underground hall appeared in front of them. In the center of the hall, there is a stone platform emitting light blue light, with a crystal-clear crystal placed on the stone platform. This is the core we are looking for. Black Panther said, eyes flashing with excitement. Lin Feng felt the powerful energy contained in the crystal, and felt excited in his heart. They walked cautiously towards the stone platform. Suddenly, the ground began to shake, and a huge stone statue rose from the ground and stood in front of them. It seems we have to deal with it first. Black Panther said in a deep voice, quickly assuming a fighting stance. Lin Feng nodded, and the wind energy swirled around him, preparing for the battle. The stone statue hit them with a huge fist, and Lin Feng quickly used wind energy to form a barrier to block the attack. The Black Panther evaded flexibly and launched a counterattack from the side. The battle was extremely fierce and the power of the stone statue was amazing, but the cooperation between Lin Feng and Black Panther was also very tacit. Lin Feng used wind energy to continuously interfere with the movement of the stone statue, while Black Panther looked for opportunities to attack its weaknesses. In the end, the stone statue collapsed to the ground under their joint attack and turned into a pile of rubble. Lin Feng and Black Panther breathed a sigh of relief and walked towards the stone platform. Lin Feng put his hand on the crystal and felt a warm energy flowing into his body. This energy resonated with the wind energy in his body, making him feel calmer and more powerful than ever before. "Looks like we all won," Black Panther said with a smile. Lin Feng nodded and said with a smile, "Yes, there is no winning or losing this time, only cooperation." The two returned to Avengers headquarters with the crystal and were warmly welcomed by their teammates. Lin Feng felt a sense of satisfaction that he had never experienced before. He knew that not only had he become stronger, but he had also gained precious friendship and trust. Lin Feng's life gradually returned to calm, but there was always an unanswered question in his mind: the whereabouts of his parents were unknown. From the day he obtained wind energy, his parents disappeared, which became an eternal pain in his heart. Although he participated in countless missions and defeated countless enemies, this problem was always like a wound that could not be healed, reminding him all the time. One day, Lin Feng was checking information in the library of Avengers headquarters, trying to find more information about energy resonance. Suddenly, his communicator rang, and it was Dr. Mutant's call. "Lin Feng, I have something important to tell you. Come to my laboratory right away." There was a hint of nervousness in Dr. Mutant's voice. Lin Feng quickly rushed to Dr. Mutant's laboratory. The doctor was standing in front of a complex instrument with a solemn expression. "Doctor, what happened?" Lin Feng asked. Dr. Mutant turned around and handed him a piece of information. "When we analyzed your energy fluctuations, we found some strange signals. After detailed analysis, these signals seemed to come from a specific location." Lin Feng took the information and looked at the data and map carefully. His heartbeat gradually accelerated, and the place where those signals came from made him feel familiar and friendly. Chapter 2. The more you understand, the stronger your power will be. "This is..." Lin Feng's voice trembled a little. "Is this where my parents may be?" Dr. Mutation nodded. "Yes, although we are not 100% sure, the frequency of these signals is very similar to the energy fluctuations in your body." Lin Feng felt excited and uneasy. This news was of great significance to him. He clenched his fists and secretly made up his mind to find the whereabouts of his parents. "Doctor, I have to go to that place," Lin Feng said firmly. "I know," Dr. Mutant said. "I have prepared some equipment and resources for you to use. You will not go alone, other members of the Avengers will also help you." Lin Feng nodded gratefully. He knew that with these supports, he would be more confident. A few days later, Lin Feng and several Avengers team members went to the mysterious location. It was a remote mountainous area, surrounded by dense forests and steep cliffs. They carefully went deep into the forest, followed the signal's guidance, and finally came to an ancient building hidden in the valley. "This looks like an abandoned laboratory," one team member said. Lin Feng nodded. He could feel a strange energy fluctuation filling the air here. As they gradually approached the building, Lin Feng's mood became more complicated. He was looking forward to finding his parents, but he was also worried about facing bad consequences. They entered the building and found that it seemed to have been abandoned for a long time. The equipment in the laboratory is covered with dust, but it can still be seen that a lot of scientific research was conducted here. Lin Feng and his team members searched separately, and everyone's heart was filled with tension and expectation. Suddenly, Lin Feng found some old documents and photos in a hidden room. There are his parents in the photo. They look very young and have bright smiles. Lin Feng's heartbeat accelerated, and he knew that he was getting closer to the truth. At this moment, a call from the team members came from the communicator. "Lin Feng, we found something in the basement. Come and take a look." Lin Feng quickly rushed to the basement and found a heavy iron door there. The iron door was covered with complex runes and chains, as if to seal off something important. The team members are trying to break the chain, but progress is slow. "Let me try." Lin Feng stepped forward, concentrated his wind energy, and launched a powerful impact on the chain. The chain gradually loosened under the influence of wind energy, and finally broke. The iron door slowly opened, revealing a dark room with a huge glass cabin in the center and two people lying inside. "It's my parents." Lin Feng rushed over, almost unable to control himself with excitement. He saw his parents lying quietly in the glass cabin, seemingly asleep, and their lives were not in danger. Dr. Mutant contacted Lin Feng through the communicator. "Lin Feng, stay calm. This may be some kind of cryosleep device. We need to operate it carefully to wake them up safely." Lin Feng took a deep breath and tried to calm down. He followed the doctor's instructions and carefully operated the device. With a slight buzzing sound, the lid of the glass cabin slowly opened, and Lin Feng's parents slowly woke up. "Dad, Mom, it's me, Lin Feng." He knelt beside his parents, with tears in his eyes. Lin Feng's parents slowly opened their eyes and smiled happily when they saw their son in front of them. "Fenger, it's really you." The family hugged each other tightly, tears flowing uncontrollably. Lin Feng felt a warmth and happiness that he had never experienced before. He knew that he had finally found his long-lost relative. "Why are we here?" Lin Feng's father asked, his eyes full of confusion. Lin Feng briefly told what happened recently. After hearing this, his parents' expressions became complicated. They recalled some things from that year and gradually pieced together some clues. "We were conducting an important research at that time, trying to decipher an ancient energy source, but an accident occurred during the experiment and we were forced to enter cryosleep," Lin Feng's mother said. "We didn't expect to sleep for so long. Fortunately, you found us," the father said with emotion. Lin Feng held his parents' hands tightly, his heart filled with gratitude and joy. He knows that although the road ahead is still full of challenges, as long as the family is together, there is nothing they can't overcome. After leaving the laboratory, Lin Feng returned to the Avengers headquarters with his parents and was warmly welcomed by his teammates. Lin Feng felt unprecedentedly satisfied and happy. He knew that this experience not only allowed him to find his relatives, but also strengthened his beliefs. In the days after Lin Feng reunited with his parents, the Avengers headquarters returned to calm. Lin Feng's parents began to adapt to the changes in modern society, and were also proud of Lin Feng's status among the Avengers. Their family's life is gradually getting back on track, but Lin Feng always has a hunch in his heart that the peaceful days will not last long. Sure enough, one morning, the sky suddenly turned gloomy. Lin Feng stood in front of the window of the headquarters and felt a strange chill in the air. He frowned, feeling something was wrong. Just then, the communicator rang, an emergency call from Black Panther. "Lin Feng, we have detected an abnormal airflow moving towards the city. It looks like a sudden snowstorm. You need to come to the control center immediately." Lin Feng quickly rushed to the control center and felt his heart sink when he saw the weather data displayed on the screen. This blizzard came so suddenly, without any warning from the meteorological department, and it was obviously abnormal. "This is not a natural weather change," Lin Feng said, a trace of worry flashed in his eyes. "It may be some kind of energy at work." Black Panther nodded, "I think so too. We need to find out the source of this energy and at the same time protect the city from the blizzard." Lin Feng took a deep breath, wind energy flowed through his body, and he knew he had to act as soon as possible. He walked to the console and began to analyze the path and source of the airflow. "Here." Lin Feng pointed to a point on the map. "This should be the source of energy." The Black Panther looked at the map and nodded in agreement. "We will set off immediately." Lin Feng and Black Panther quickly assembled a team and took a Quinjet to the target location. The fighter plane flew through the blizzard with extremely limited vision. Lin Feng looked through the window at the flying snowflakes outside, his heart filled with tension and expectation. "Lin Feng, are you ready?" Black Panther's voice came through the communicator. Lin Feng nodded and took a deep breath. "Ready." The fighter plane landed in a snow-covered valley, surrounded by a white scene. The cold wind howled, and the snowflakes cut on my face like knives. Lin Feng and Black Panther took the team members off the fighter plane and headed into the wind and snow. Chapter 3. Devil Fruit. The source of energy is ahead. Lin Feng felt the flow of wind, guiding them forward. Finally, they came to an ancient temple. The door of the temple was closed, but a strong energy fluctuation came from inside. Lin Feng and Black Panther looked at each other, knowing in their hearts that this might be a trap, but they had no choice. "We have to go in," Lin Feng said firmly. Black Panther nodded. "I'll cover you." Lin Feng used wind energy to open the door of the temple, and a strong cold air rushed towards him. The interior of the temple is filled with ice and snow, and there is a huge ice crystal in the center, which is constantly emitting cold air and energy fluctuations. "That's the source," Black Panther whispered, gripping his weapon tightly, ready to deal with any emergencies. Lin Feng concentrated his attention and walked towards the ice crystal. He felt that the ice crystals contained extremely strong energy, and this energy seemed to resonate with his wind energy. He took a deep breath, slowly approached the ice crystal with his hands, and tried to control it with wind energy. Suddenly, the ice crystal shook violently, and a cold light shot out from it. Lin Feng was knocked back a few steps and fell to the ground. He felt a sharp pain, but stood up quickly, his eyes full of determination. "This thing has its own consciousness," Lin Feng said in a deep voice. "It is resisting us." Black Panther nodded. "Let's go together." The two attacked at the same time. Lin Feng used wind energy to wrap the ice crystal, and Black Panther used vibranium weapons to destroy its outer layer. The ice crystals let out a harsh scream, and the cold air became more intense, but under the joint attack of Lin Feng and Black Panther, they gradually cracked. Finally, the ice crystals cracked with a loud noise, the cold air dissipated, and the blizzard gradually stopped. Lin Feng and Black Panther breathed a sigh of relief, looking at the broken ice crystals, their hearts filled with the joy of victory. "We did it," Black Panther said with a smile. Lin Feng nodded. Although he was physically exhausted, his heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment. The sudden snowstorm was finally solved by them, but he knew that there might be a bigger conspiracy behind it. Back at Avengers headquarters, Lin Feng and Black Panther reported the situation to their teammates. Lin Feng's parents also came and looked at him with concern. "Feng, are you okay?" Mother asked worriedly. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. "I'm fine, Mom. Everything has been resolved." His father patted him on the shoulder, his eyes full of pride. "You did a good job, Lin Feng." Lin Feng felt a warmth. He knew that no matter how difficult the future was, he would have the support of his family and friends. This strengthened his belief that no matter what enemies and challenges he faced, he would rise to the occasion and continue to protect the world. However, he also knew in his heart that there must be more secrets behind this snowstorm waiting to be revealed. Lin Feng secretly made up his mind to find out the truth and completely resolve these threats. He knew that this was just the beginning and the real battle was yet to come. After the snowstorm, Lin Feng felt that his body was extremely tired, especially his hands. After returning to Avengers headquarters, his fingers began to become stiff and even unable to move normally. This sudden change filled him with uneasiness and doubts. "Feng, what's wrong with your hand?" Mother asked worriedly, her eyes full of anxiety. Lin Feng shook his head, trying to hide his pain. Maybe the cold just now was too strong, causing his fingers to temporarily lose feeling. Dr. Mutant also noticed Lin Feng's abnormality and quickly came over to check. "Let me take a look." The doctor carefully examined Lin Feng's fingers and found obvious signs of redness, swelling and frostbite on his knuckles. The doctor frowned and already had a preliminary judgment in his mind. "Lin Feng, your fingers have suffered severe frostbite and need immediate treatment," Dr. Mutant said. "I will use special medicine and energy therapy to help you recover." Lin Feng nodded. Although he was a little worried, he felt more trust in the doctor. He knew that Dr. Mutant had profound attainments in the fields of medicine and energy. In the next few days, Lin Feng received treatment in the doctor's laboratory. His fingers gradually regained some feeling, but they still felt stiff and painful. This frustrated him because he needed the dexterity of his fingers to manipulate the wind energy. "Doctor, can my hand return to normal?" Lin Feng asked, with a hint of anxiety in his voice. Dr. Mutant nodded and comforted. "Don't worry, Lin Feng. Although recovery will take some time, your fingers will definitely return to normal. You have to be patient and don't rush for success." Lin Feng took a deep breath and tried to calm down. He knew that only by maintaining patience and faith could he fully recover. During the treatment period, Lin Feng's parents stayed with him every day, giving him endless care and encouragement. His mother gently massaged his fingers, while his father told some interesting stories to try to relax him. Lin Feng felt a burst of warmth and gratitude. He knew that he was not alone. One night, Lin Feng sat alone in his room, looking at the starry sky outside the window, his heart full of thoughts. His fingers still felt stiff, which frustrated him immensely. Wind energy is his biggest reliance, but now, he cannot fully exert his power. I can't go on like this. Lin Feng secretly made up his mind, no matter how difficult it is, I will overcome this difficulty. The next day, Lin Feng began a series of special training in an attempt to regain the flexibility of his fingers. He wrapped his fingers with wind energy, made every movement slowly and carefully, and felt every flow of energy. Although every training session was full of pain, he never gave up. One day, Black Panther came to visit Lin Feng and saw a glimmer of appreciation in his eyes when he saw him training. Lin Feng, I admire your perseverance. Black Panther said, his tone full of sincerity. Lin Feng raised his head, smiled and said, Thank you, Black Panther. I can't give up, I must become stronger. Black Panther nodded, came over and sat next to him. We all know your strength and determination. No matter what difficulties you encounter, you have us behind you to support you. Lin Feng felt a warmth and his heart was filled with strength. He knew that with the support of these partners, he would be able to overcome the difficulties at hand. As time passed, Lin Feng's fingers gradually regained their flexibility, and his ability to control wind energy also began to slowly return. Although the process was difficult, he felt extremely gratified every time he made progress. One day, Lin Feng stood on the rooftop of the Avengers' headquarters, feeling the flow of the wind, and his heart was filled with peace and strength. He stretched out his fingers, and wind energy danced on his fingertips, as if responding to his call. Chapter 4. Everyone is immune. I'm back. Lin Feng whispered, with a firm light shining in his eyes. At this moment, the communicator suddenly sounded, which was an emergency call from Dr. Mutant. Lin Feng, we found some new clues about the truth behind that snowstorm. You need to come here immediately. There was a hint of nervousness in the doctor's voice. Lin Feng quickly rushed to the laboratory, where the doctor was analyzing a complex set of data. When he saw Lin Feng, he immediately said, We found some abnormal energy fluctuations, which are very similar to the last snowstorm. Lin Feng looked at the data on the screen carefully, and doubts arose in his heart. Where do these energy fluctuations come from? Dr. Mutant pointed to a point on the map. Here, an abandoned research facility. We suspect that there may be some kind of device hidden there that can cause similar extreme weather. Lin Feng nodded, already making a decision in his mind. We must investigate and we can't let something like this happen again. Dr. Mutant agreed, I'll go with you. We need to act quickly to avoid more disasters. Lin Feng and Dr. Mutant quickly assembled a team and prepared to go to the abandoned research facility. Before leaving, Lin Feng's parents held his hands tightly, their eyes full of worry and encouragement. Fenga, take care of yourself. Mother said, with tears in her eyes. Lin Feng smiled and nodded, Don't worry, Mom. I will come back safely. His father patted him on the shoulder, We believe you, so be careful. Lin Feng felt a warmth. He knew that he was carrying the expectations of his family and friends. No matter how dangerous it was, he would not back down. On the way to the research facility, Lin Feng felt extremely complicated. He knew that this mission was not only to uncover the truth about the blizzard, but also to protect innocent people from being harmed. He took a deep breath, focused himself, and prepared for the upcoming challenge. After arriving at the research facility, Lin Feng and his team members found that it had been abandoned for many years, but still retained many advanced equipment and instruments. Dr. Mutant carefully inspected every corner, trying to find the source of the energy fluctuations. There is a device here. The doctor pointed to a complex machine and said, It seems to be able to control the weather, but it is currently shut down. Lin Feng stepped forward and felt the powerful energy contained in the machine. He had a vague feeling in his heart that this machine might be the culprit that caused the blizzard. We must find a way to control this machine. Lin Feng said, A trace of determination flashed in his eyes. Dr. Mutant nodded and began to study the machine's operating interface. At this moment, the machine suddenly started up, a strong energy wave emitted from it, and the entire facility began to shake. Oops, someone remotely activated this machine. Dr. Mutant shouted, quickly operating the console to try to shut down the machine. Lin Feng concentrates wind energy in an attempt to stabilize the surrounding environment. He knew that the energy of this machine was very powerful and it must be shut down as soon as possible, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. Doctor, I'll delay the time, and you can find a way to close it as soon as possible. Lin Feng said, with a firm light shining in his eyes. Dr. Mutant nodded, be careful, Lin Feng. Lin Feng used wind energy to form a protective barrier, blocking the strong energy emitted by the machine. He felt sharp pain coming from his fingers again, but he gritted his teeth and held on. He knew that he couldn't let anyone get hurt, and he had to persevere no matter how difficult it was. In the end, Dr. Mutant successfully shut down the machine, and the energy fluctuations gradually disappeared. Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that his body was extremely tired, but his heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment. We did it. The doctor came over and patted Lin Feng on the shoulder. Lin Feng nodded, his eyes flashing with relief. Yes, doctor. We won this time. In Lin Feng's memory, his parents were ordinary office workers, but as his investigation deepened, it seemed that things were not that simple. After many inquiries, he learned that a mysterious organization in New York may know the whereabouts of his parents. This organization is said to have some connection with the Avengers. Lin Feng decided to take a chance. After all, this was his biggest clue in recent years. As night fell, Lin Feng came to a dilapidated building. It looked like a warehouse that had been abandoned for many years, but as far as he knew, a mysterious laboratory was hidden here. He gently pushed open the rusty iron door and walked in. The interior scene was completely different from the dilapidated exterior. Lin Feng was stunned by the dazzling array of high-tech equipment. There were whispers of conversation and the sound of machines operating from the end of the corridor. He held his breath and slowly approached. We can't let him know the truth, said a cold voice, otherwise the plan will not be able to continue. But he has already begun to suspect, another voice retorted, if you don't tell him, he will find out on his own. Lin Feng was shocked, these words were obviously about him. He carefully poked his head out and saw two figures arguing in a laboratory. Just when he wanted to continue listening, a loud noise suddenly came from behind and the whole building shook. Boom! Lin Feng quickly took a few steps back and saw a flash of green light, and a tall and mighty figure broke in. It's the Hulk. His arrival caused everyone in the laboratory to stop immediately and flee in panic. The Hulk roared angrily, obviously he was extremely dissatisfied with everything here. Let's go. Lin Feng's heart rang with alarm bells. He turned around and wanted to escape, but his footsteps were stopped by a woman's scream. Help! Help me! Lin Feng turned around and saw a woman in a white coat being pinned down by the collapsed equipment and unable to move. The Hulk had already rushed in front of her and was about to punch her down. Lin Feng didn't have time to think too much, and immediately rushed forward, trying to comfort this giant creature with words. Hey Hulk! Don't hurt her! The Hulk's fist stopped in midair. He lowered his head and looked at Lin Feng, his eyes full of confusion and anger. Lin Feng tried to stay calm and continued, she is innocent, don't hurt her. The Hulk seemed to be affected by Lin Feng's attitude. His anger gradually subsided and he slowly retracted his fist. Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief and quickly ran over to pull the woman out of the ruins. The woman's face was full of horror, but she still expressed her gratitude to Lin Feng. Thank you, she gasped. My name is Mary and I know what you're looking for. Do you know my parents? Lin Feng asked eagerly. Chapter 5. You shouldn't trust that devil. Mary nodded, a trace of sadness flashed in her eyes. I am also part of this experiment, but I don't know much. Your parents participated in a secret experiment, but I don't know the specific content. However, I know that someone has been while spying on you. They don't want you to know the truth. Who is it? Lin Feng frowned. Who is spying on me? Mary shook her head. I don't know their true identity, but I know they are related to S.H.I.E.L.D. You need to find Nick Fury, he may be able to tell you more. Pictures flashed through Lin Feng's mind quickly. He knew who Nick Fury was, the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the man behind the Avengers. If what Mary said is true, then he needs to find Fury and find out the truth. Thank you, Mary, Lin Feng said. Get out of here first, it's too dangerous here. Mary nodded and hurried out of the laboratory. Lin Feng took a deep breath and turned to face the Hulk. Thank you for not hurting her just now. Can you tell me why you appear here? Hulk didn't answer, just looked at Lin Feng quietly. Then, he slowly turned around and walked deeper into the laboratory. Lin Feng decided to follow, maybe the Hulk knew something. At the end of the laboratory was a heavy steel door. The Hulk punched open the door, revealing a piece of more complex equipment and instruments inside. Lin Feng walked into the depths of the laboratory and found a huge computer with a series of complex data and charts displayed on the screen. He worked carefully, trying to find information about his parents. Just as he was concentrating, there was a sound of footsteps behind him. He turned around suddenly and saw a man in a black leather coat standing at the door. It was Nick Fury. I knew you were coming, Fury said coldly. You're looking for your parents, right? Lin Feng nodded. Yes, I need to know the truth. Why did they participate in this experiment? Why did they disappear? Fury sighed and walked up to Lin Feng. This matter is very complicated and involves many unknown secrets. Your parents participated in this experiment to protect you. They hope that you can have a safe future. But something went wrong with the experiment and they were forced to leave. Leave? Where did you go? Lin Feng asked closely. I can't tell you the specific location, but I can tell you that they are still alive, just trapped in a place that we can't reach, Fury said. We have been trying to find them, but so far there are no results. Lin Feng's mood was extremely complicated. He finally knew part of the truth about his parents, but there were still many mysteries that remained unsolved. He took a deep breath and looked at Fury. What can I do? Fury pondered for a moment and then said, you need to find more clues. Here is some information that may be helpful to you. Remember, don't trust anyone easily. The world is much more complicated than you think. Lin Feng nodded and began to look through the information that Fury handed him. The information mentioned a lot of research on mysterious experiments and superpowers, as well as some internal secrets about S.H.I.E.L.D. He realized that he had been involved in a huge conspiracy, and the center of this conspiracy was his parents. Thank you, Fury. Lin Feng closed the document. I will find them, no matter what the cost. Fury nodded, a hint of approval flashed in his eyes. I wish you good luck, Lin Feng. Lin Feng left the laboratory and walked on the streets of New York, his heart full of determination and determination. He knows that this road is full of dangers and challenges, but he will not give up until he finds his parents and reveals all the truth. The image of the Hulk lingered in his mind, and he knew that this behemoth might be the key to his search for the truth. The road ahead is full of unknowns, but Lin Feng believes that as long as he persists, he will eventually find the answer. Lin Feng walked on the neon-lit street, Fury's words echoing in his mind. There is a huge conspiracy hidden behind the disappearance of his parents, and he must face it all alone. He took a deep breath and tried to calm down the anxiety and uneasiness in his heart. Although some clues have been found, the truth is still far away. He walked into a small cafe, ordered a cup of black coffee, and sat in a corner seat. The noise and warm light around him made him feel slightly at ease. He took out the information given by Fury from his backpack and began to read it carefully. Each page was filled with complex terminology and obscure research reports, and he had to ponder their meaning over and over again. You look worried. A gentle voice sounded in his ear. Lin Feng raised his head and saw a cafe waiter standing in front of him, looking at him with a smile. Yes, there are some things that bother me. Lin Feng replied, trying to hide his inner turmoil. Sometimes, it's better to tell him. The waiter handed him a small cake and continued, this cake is free. I hope you feel better. Lin Feng gratefully took the cake and thanked him softly. After the waiter left, his eyes returned to the information again. Suddenly, a photo caught his attention. The figure in the photo was blurry, but he vaguely felt that this man resembled his father. He carefully studied the background of the photo and found that it was a famous laboratory. This is the clue. Lin Feng's heart moved and he decided to go to the laboratory to investigate in person. Early the next morning, Lin Feng came to the laboratory in the photo. This is a high-tech building with a strict access control system. He hid on a nearby street corner and watched the people going in and out. After some waiting, he saw a familiar figure, Mary. She was walking into the laboratory in a hurry, and Lin Feng quickly followed her. "Mary," he whispered, trying not to attract attention. When Mary heard the sound, she turned around and saw it was Lin Feng, with a surprised expression on her face. "Lin Feng? Why are you here?" "I need your help," Lin Feng said. "I found clues about my parents. But I need to enter this laboratory to further confirm." Mary hesitated for a moment and finally nodded. "Okay, I'll take you in. But you have to be careful, it's very dangerous here." They quietly entered the laboratory. Mary took Lin Feng to avoid surveillance and guards and came to a hidden office. There are many research reports and photos hanging on the walls of the office, and in the middle is a large table with a computer on it. "This is the office of the director of the laboratory," Mary explained. "He has all the secrets here." Chapter 6. Make Big Money. Lin Feng eagerly flipped through the report and found that it detailed a series of secret experiments conducted many years ago. The information on each page shocked him even more: the list of experimental subjects, research objectives, participants. This information brought him closer and closer to the truth about his parents. What on earth did they do? Lin Feng murmured to himself, feeling both angry and helpless. He has lacked the love of his parents since he was a child, and now he discovers that they may have been forced to be involved in a dangerous experiment. "Lin Feng," Mary's voice interrupted his thoughts. "We can't stay here for too long, someone may find out at any time." Lin Feng nodded and took a few photos of the report for careful study in the future. He put away his phone and said to Mary firmly, "Thank you, Mary. Now I need to find more clues." They quickly left the office and walked to the back door of the building. Just as Lin Feng was about to leave, there was a sound of heavy footsteps, accompanied by a slight vibration on the ground. He looked back and saw the Hulk walking from the other end of the corridor, staring straight at him. Oops, Lin Feng's heart tightened. The Hulk was obviously here to stop him. "Mary, you go first, I'll distract him." "No, Lin Feng, this is too dangerous," Mary said nervously. "Let's go," Lin Feng insisted, his eyes firm. Mary no longer hesitated, turned around and ran out of the building. Lin Feng turned around to face the Hulk, his heart beating faster and his thoughts spinning rapidly. He knew that he could not compete head-on with the Hulk, he could only outwit him. "Hulk," Lin Feng raised his hands and tried to appear calm. "I have no ill intentions, I just want to find my parents. Can you help me?" The Hulk stopped and looked down at Lin Feng, a complex emotion flashing in his eyes. Lin Feng couldn't help but breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that his words had an effect. "Your parents." Hulk's deep voice sounded, with a hint of uncertainty. "They are in the experiment." Lin Feng looked at him in surprise. "Do you know where they are?" Hulk nodded, but then shook his head. "I know some, but not all. You can't go to them, it's too dangerous." "I must find them," Lin Feng said firmly. "No matter how dangerous it is, I will never give up." The Hulk looked at him, was silent for a moment, and finally nodded slowly. "Okay, but you have to promise me not to act rashly. Follow me." Lin Feng felt happy and followed the Hulk to the other side of the building. They came to a hidden room, and the Hulk pushed the gate of opening, which turned out to be a simple laboratory. The walls are covered with various experimental data and photos, and in the center is a huge piece of equipment. "This is..." Lin Feng looked at the Hulk in confusion. "This is a record of their last experiment," Hulk explained. "Your parents participated in this experiment to protect you. They were sent to a different space, but we couldn't find them." "Another space?" Lin Feng was shocked. "Then how can I find them?" The Hulk thought for a moment, then walked to the device and pressed a few buttons. The device started to operate, and complex images and data appeared on the screen. "This device can locate their coordinates, but we need more energy to start the teleportation process," Hulk explained. "You need to find a special energy source to complete the teleportation." Where should I find this energy source? Lin Feng asked anxiously. This is a map. Hulk handed Lin Feng a map with several locations marked on it. These places may have the energy sources you need. But each location is very dangerous, so you have to be mentally prepared. Lin Feng took the map and was filled with determination. He knows it will be a difficult journey, but he will not back down in order to find his parents. Thank you, Hulk, Lin Feng said sincerely. I will find the energy source as soon as possible and come back to start the transmission process. The Hulk nodded, with a hint of worry in his eyes. Be careful, Lin Feng. I hope you can succeed. Lin Feng took a deep breath, turned around and left the hidden laboratory. He was walking on the street outside the building with mixed emotions. There is such a huge conspiracy hidden behind the disappearance of his parents, and he must face it all alone. He looked down at the map in his hand. Several marked locations were located in different cities and regions. Every location may be full of danger, but he has made up his mind to find his parents no matter what the cost. I will definitely find you, Lin Feng said silently to himself. No matter how many difficulties there are ahead, I will never give up. He walked to the corner, hailed a taxi, and headed straight to the first marked location on the map. As the taxi sped through the night, Lin Feng's mood became more determined. Although the road ahead is unknown, he believes that as long as he persists, he will eventually find his parents and reveal all the truth. The taxi stopped in an abandoned industrial area. After Lin Feng got out of the car, he looked around. The place seemed extremely quiet. There were only a few stray cats rummaging through the garbage for food. He tightened his coat and walked towards the building marked on the map. It's an abandoned factory with its door ajar and rusty Madara. Lin Feng pushed open the door and walked in. The darkness and coldness inside made him shiver. He took out his cell phone, used a flashlight to illuminate the front, and continued moving forward. The interior of the factory was in a mess, with broken equipment and scattered documents everywhere. Lin Feng carefully walked through the ruins and came to the door of a sealed room. The door was locked, but it didn't look like the lock was strong. Lin Feng pushed hard, the lock opened, and the door slowly opened, revealing a well-preserved laboratory inside. The walls were covered with complicated instruments, and the table was filled with various bottles and jars. The most eye-catching thing is a huge device with a faint light shining in the center. Is this the energy source? Lin Feng stepped forward and looked carefully. He found several buttons and switches on the device. He tentatively pressed one of them, and the device began to buzz and the light gradually became brighter. Successful! Lin Feng was overjoyed, and when he was about to proceed further, there was a rush of footsteps behind him. He turned around suddenly and saw several men in black rushing in with weapons in their hands. Stop, the leader shouted. What are you doing? Lin Feng's heart tightened, knowing that these people came with bad intentions. He quickly thought about countermeasures and looked at them warily. I'm just looking for some information, there is no harm. Information? The man sneered. Everything here is confidential, you must come with us. Chapter 7. Made you so angry? Lin Feng knew that he could not be caught and had to find a way to escape. He glanced at the flashing device and suddenly had an idea. He quickly pressed a few buttons, and the device's light instantly became dazzling, and the entire room was enveloped in bright light. Quickly retreat! Lin Feng shouted, using the cover of the bright light. He quickly rushed to the door. He heard a chaotic sound behind him, but he didn't look back and just ran out as hard as he could. Lin Feng rushed out of the factory and quickly passed through the industrial area, stopping only after confirming that there were no pursuers. He breathed heavily, secretly grateful for his clever escape just now. He knows that the road ahead will be more difficult, but he will not back down. The traces of my parents are getting closer and closer, Lin Feng said firmly to himself. No matter how many dangers there are ahead, I will never give up. He looked at the map in his hand and saw that the next marked location was nearby. He organized his thoughts and continued to move towards the next goal. Every step is filled with determination and hope. Although the road ahead is unknown, he believes that as long as he persists, he will eventually find his parents and reveal all the truth. Lin Feng walked along the streets of the industrial area and gradually moved away from the abandoned factory, but his heart could not calm down. What he had just encountered made him realize that this road was not easy and he might face danger at any time. But he had no retreat and had to move on. He came to a small hotel and decided to take a rest here to collect his thoughts. He walked into the lobby, checked in, and walked to his room with the key. Pushing open the door, a stale smell hit his face. Although the room was simple, it could at least allow him to relax temporarily. Lin Feng sat by the bed, took out the map, and carefully studied the next action plan. The next marked location is an abandoned research institute on the other side of the city. He took a deep breath and decided to rest here for one night and set out early tomorrow morning. In the dead of night, Lin Feng was lying on the bed, thinking about the experiences of the past few days in his mind. The figures of his parents appeared in front of his eyes, and he missed their warm smiles and caring eyes. Although they haven't seen each other for many years, he still remembers those good times. "Mom and Dad, where are you?" Lin Feng asked silently in his heart. "Why did you want to participate in that experiment? Why did you leave me?" His heart was full of doubts and pain, but more importantly, determination and hope. He knows that no matter how many difficulties lie ahead, he will never give up. In the early morning of the next day, Lin Feng got up early, packed his luggage briefly, and left the hotel. There are few pedestrians on the streets and the city is still sleeping. He followed the map's guidance, took public transportation, and headed in the direction of the abandoned research institute. After several hours of travel, Lin Feng finally arrived at the suburb where the research institute was located. This is a desolate place, surrounded by grass, making it look particularly deserted. He approached the research institute and found that it had long been abandoned and the doors and windows were dilapidated. Are there any clues here? Lin Feng was filled with doubts, but he knew he had to go in and find out. He carefully opened the door and walked into the institute. The place was more dilapidated than he imagined, with broken glass and collapsed equipment everywhere. He walked through the empty rooms, looking for any possible clues. Finally, in the corner of a laboratory, he found a well-preserved computer. Lin Feng carefully started the computer, and the screen lit up, showing a complex operation interface. He followed his instincts and quickly found a hidden folder. "I hope there is useful information here," Lin Feng whispered and opened the folder. Inside was a detailed experimental report with the title Energy Transmission Experiment. Lin Feng read the report carefully and found that it was about research on a special energy that could open a portal to a different space. The report described the process and results of the experiment in detail, but what shocked Lin Feng most was that he saw his parents' names in the report. "Lin Jiang and Li Na, these are your names." Lin Feng's heartbeat accelerated, and his fingers trembled as he flipped through each page of the report. He discovered that his parents participated in this experiment. In order to protect him, they voluntarily became experimental subjects, but ended up being trapped in a different space. So, they are still alive, but trapped in a different space? Countless thoughts flashed through Lin Feng's mind. I must find the energy source, open the portal, and rescue them. Just as he was thinking about countermeasures, there was a sound of footsteps behind him. He turned around suddenly and saw a tall man standing at the door, looking at him coldly. "Who are you?" Lin Feng asked warily. "My name is Jack," the man slowly walked into the laboratory. "I'm here to help you." "Help me?" Lin Feng looked at him doubtfully. "Why?" "Because I'm also looking for your parents," Jack explained. "We have a common goal." Lin Feng frowned. "Why are you looking for them?" Jack sighed, with a complex emotion flashing in his eyes. "Your parents saved me back then. They discovered something important during the experiment. I must find them and solve this mystery." Lin Feng's heart moved. "Do you know how to find them?" Jack nodded. "I have some clues, but I need your help. We must find the energy source to open the portal." Lin Feng was silent for a moment and finally nodded. "Okay, let's work together. But you must tell me all the truth." Jack smiled slightly. "Of course, I will tell you everything." They left the institute and walked in the desolate suburbs. Lin Feng's heart is full of complicated emotions. He is not sure whether he should trust Jack completely, but for now, it seems that he is the only hope. "We need to find a special energy crystal that can provide enough energy to open the portal," Jack explained. "According to my investigation, this crystal may be in an ancient mine." "Mine?" Lin Feng asked, "Where is it?" "It's in the nearby mountains." Jack pointed to the mountains in the distance. "We need to get there as soon as possible, time is tight." Lin Feng nodded and followed Jack towards the mountains. Along the way, they exchanged many details about the experiment and their parents, and Lin Feng gradually developed trust in Jack. When they arrived at the entrance of the mine, it was already dark. There were bursts of cold air coming from the depths of the mine, making people shudder. Lin Feng took out his flashlight, illuminated the front, and walked into the mine with Jack. The interior of the mine is dark and humid, and the surrounding rock walls are covered with thick moss. They moved forward cautiously, stopping occasionally to check their maps and equipment. After walking for a while, they found a fork in the road. Jack stopped and frowned. Chapter 8. Being plotted against. "We have to work separately," Jack said. "This will save time." Lin Feng nodded and agreed to Jack's proposal. They walked to different forks in the road, agreeing to return to the gathering as soon as they found the crystal. Lin Feng walked alone in the narrow tunnel of the mine, feeling both nervous and expectant. He knows that this adventure is full of unknown dangers, but in order to find his parents, he must move forward bravely. After walking for a long time, Lin Feng finally found a crystal that shone with blue light in a cave. He was overjoyed and hurriedly stepped forward and carefully took out the crystal. The crystal exudes a soft light and seems to contain endless energy. "Found it!" Lin Feng shouted excitedly, but then he realized that he had to meet Jack as soon as possible. He carefully put the crystal away, turned around, and headed back the way he came. When he returned to the meeting point, Jack was already waiting for him. When Jack saw the crystal in Lin Feng's hand, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. "Good, we finally found it," Jack said. "Now we have to rush back and activate the portal." They hurriedly left the mine and returned to the abandoned research institute. Jack skillfully operated the equipment and installed the crystal on the device, and the entire room was suddenly enveloped in dazzling blue light. "Ready?" Jack said to Lin Feng. "Are you sure you want to go in? This may be very dangerous." Lin Feng nodded without hesitation. "I must find them." Jack activated the device, the portal slowly opened, and a bright light appeared in front of them. Lin Feng took a deep breath and stepped into the portal. The light instantly surrounded him. He felt dizzy, as if he had traveled through countless time and space. A moment later, he stood in a strange place, surrounded by a mysterious light. A faint call came from the distance, and that voice was the parents he missed day and night. Lin Feng moved forward quickly in that mysterious light, his heart beating fast, full of anticipation and tension. He could feel the breath of his parents, which was a warmth he had not felt for many years. His footsteps became more determined, and every step was full of hope. However, before he could fully appreciate this emotion, suddenly, a red and blue figure fell from the sky and hit him hard. "Ah!" Lin Feng was knocked to the ground violently, and there was a sharp pain in his chest. He raised his head with difficulty and saw a man wearing a red and blue suit standing in front of him, his eyes under the mask full of vigilance. "Who are you? Why do you appear here?" the man asked coldly. Lin Feng clutched his chest and gasped, I'm looking for my parents, they are trapped here." The man was obviously relieved, but he still remained vigilant. "What are you talking about? This is a different space, and few people can come in." Lin Feng tried to stand up, but the pain in his chest made him frown. "I know it's dangerous here, but I have to find them." The man looked around, seeming to be thinking about something, and then stretched out his hand to pull Lin Feng up. "Sorry, I just misunderstood. I am Spider-Man. What is your name?" Lin Feng replied, still a little weak. "Why are you here?" Spider-Man sighed. "I am also looking for some missing people. They may be in a similar situation to your parents. It seems that we have a common goal." Lin Feng nodded, feeling a sense of trust in Spider-Man. "Then can we act together? I need to find them." Spider-Man thought for a moment and finally nodded in agreement. "Okay, but you have to be careful. This place is full of unknown dangers." The two continued to move forward, with Lin Feng following Spider-Man's footsteps and carefully passing through every area of the alien space. The surrounding scenery is dreamlike, as if you are in a strange world. Lin Feng's heart was filled with complex emotions, including longing for his parents and fear of unknown dangers. Lin Feng, your parents' situation is a bit special, Spider-Man suddenly said. They are trapped in a different space, and it may be related to an experiment. Lin Feng nodded. I know they participated in that experiment to protect me. I must find them and take them back. There was a hint of comfort in Spider-Man's voice. Don't worry, we will find them together. Just as the two of them went deep into the core area of the alien space, suddenly, the surrounding scene changed dramatically. The ground began to shake violently, and an ominous atmosphere filled the air. Lin Feng and Spider-Man stopped in alarm, and the light around them gradually dimmed. What's going on? Lin Feng asked nervously. Spider-Man looked around sharply. It seems that we have triggered some kind of mechanism, and we must find an exit as soon as possible. They quickened their pace and passed through strange scenes. Suddenly, a piercing scream came from a distance, accompanied by a strong shock wave. Lin Feng was so shocked that he staggered a few steps and almost fell down. Get away! Spider-Man shouted, pulling Lin Feng aside. Lin Feng looked into the distance with lingering fear, and saw a huge monster running towards them, with teeth and claws showing, and a fierce look in his eyes. This is... Lin Feng's eyes widened in horror. Spider-Man clenched his fists. This is the guardian of another space. We must defeat it before we can move forward. Lin Feng nodded, took a deep breath, and was filled with determination. Okay, let's go together. The two of them worked together to fight against the huge monster, and the battle was extremely fierce. Lin Feng's every punch and every dodge was filled with incomparable concentration and courage. He knew that only by defeating this monster could he continue to search for his parents. Hold on, Lin Feng! Spider-Man shouted, waving his webbing and nimbly flying through the air, looking for the monster's weaknesses. Lin Feng followed closely, praying silently in his heart. His movements became more and more skillful, and he gradually found the rhythm of the battle. Finally, with a clever cooperation, they successfully defeated the monster. Lin Feng used all his strength to crush the monster's core. Successful! Lin Feng gasped and looked at the fallen monster excitedly. Spider-Man nodded and patted his shoulder. Good job, Lin Feng. Now, we can move on. Lin Feng's heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment and hope. He knew that every time he overcame a difficulty, he would be one step closer to his parents. They continued to move forward and finally arrived at the core area of the alien space. The scene here is particularly strange, and there is a mysterious energy surrounding it, as if the air is full of magic. Lin Feng's heartbeat accelerated, and he could feel that his parents were nearby. Chapter 9. Signing the contract. This is it, Spider-Man whispered. I can feel that there is something very important hidden here. Lin Feng nodded, took a deep breath, and slowly walked forward. Suddenly, his footsteps stopped, and a familiar figure appeared in front of him, his parents. Dad. Mom. Lin Feng shouted excitedly and ran over quickly. The parents turned around with joyful smiles on their faces. Lin Feng, you are here. Lin Feng threw himself into their arms, tears welling up in his eyes. I finally found you. His parents hugged him tightly, their eyes full of excitement and joy. Lin Feng, we have been waiting for you. We know you will definitely find us. Lin Feng's heart was filled with endless emotion. He knew that all the efforts were worth it. Although the road ahead is still full of unknowns, as long as he has his family by his side, he will no longer feel lonely and helpless. How should we get out of here? Lin Feng asked, with a determined light shining in his eyes. His father patted him on the shoulder. We need to find the exit of the teleportation gate before we can leave the different space. You have found the energy source, and we can try to activate the teleportation device. Spider-Man nodded. I will help you find the exit, and we will work together. The four of them walked together in the core area of the different space, looking for the exit of the portal. Lin Feng's heart was full of hope and strength. He knew that as long as he persisted, he would be able to find a way to leave and return to the real world. Lin Feng, his parents and Spider-Man continued to move forward in the different space, taking every step with extreme caution. Although they had just reunited, Lin Feng knew that the road ahead was still full of unknown dangers. In order to ensure safety, he decided to prepare some equipment after returning to the real world, just in case. When they finally found the exit of the portal and returned to the real world, the sky was gradually darkening. Lin Feng walked on the street with his parents and Spider-Man, but he was already planning his next move. He knew that the next step was to be fully prepared for the upcoming challenges. Mom and Dad, you go find a safe place to rest first, Lin Feng said to his parents. Spider-Man and I are going to prepare some equipment. His mother looked at him with concern. Lin Feng, you must be careful. Lin Feng nodded and gave his mother a reassuring smile. Don't worry, I will pay attention to safety. His father patted him on the shoulder. We are waiting for you to come back. After Lin Feng and Spider-Man left, they came to a hidden equipment store. The interior of the store is simple, but the shelves are filled with all kinds of advanced equipment and weapons. The shop owner was a middle-aged man who looked quite smart. When he saw them coming in, he smiled slightly and said, What do you two need? Lin Feng looked around and already had a plan in mind. We need some protective equipment and weapons. The more advanced the better. The shopkeeper nodded, led them to a counter, and opened the display cabinet. Here are the latest protective suits, which can withstand various physical and energy attacks. There are also these high-energy weapons, which are enough to deal with any emergencies. Lin Feng looked at each piece of equipment carefully, constantly weighing their pros and cons in his mind. He knows that every piece of equipment may play a decisive role at critical moments and cannot be careless in the slightest. These protective suits suit us very well. Lin Feng finally selected a set of protective suits, and a few high-powered pistols and some spare ammunition. Spider-Man selected some web launchers and other special equipment to ensure that he can respond flexibly to any situation. The shop owner quickly packed the equipment and handed it to them. I wish you good luck and remember to use these equipment with care. After Lin Feng paid, he took the equipment and Spider-Man and left the store. Walking on the street, he felt that the pressure in his heart was slightly relieved, but he was still full of worries and uncertainties about the future. Lin Feng, Spider-Man suddenly said, Are you really ready? The road ahead may be more dangerous than we imagined. Lin Feng was silent for a moment, looking firmly into the distance. I don't know how many difficulties there will be in the future, but I know that I am willing to give everything for my family. Spider-Man nodded, with a flash of approval in his eyes. Then we will face it together. No matter how many challenges lie ahead, we will overcome them all. Lin Feng returned to his parents with the equipment and was relieved to see that they were safe and sound. He distributed the equipment to parents and explained in detail how to use each piece of equipment to ensure that they could respond quickly when needed. Thank you, Lin Feng, my mother said gratefully. We know you have done a lot for us. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. This is what I should do, we are a family. The family reunited, and the tacit understanding and trust between them made them feel extremely warm and at ease. Although the future is still full of unknowns, they know that as long as they work together, nothing is invincible. Early the next morning, Lin Feng, his family and Spider-Man set out again, preparing to continue looking for other clues. They know that this is just the beginning and there are more challenges waiting for them ahead. Walking on the city streets, Lin Feng's heart was full of firmness and determination. He is no longer the confused child, but a warrior who marches forward bravely for his family and the truth. He firmly believes that as long as he persists, he will be able to uncover all the mysteries and find the real answers. Where are we going? Dad asked, his eyes full of anticipation. Lin Feng looked at the map in his hand and pointed to a new marked point. There may be more clues there. They took the subway, passed through the bustling urban area, and came to an old library. It is said that there are many precious information and secrets hidden here, which may be helpful to their search. Walking into the library, Lin Feng felt a sense of solemnity and tranquility. The bookshelves are filled with all kinds of books, and the air is filled with a faint scent of books. They carefully flipped through each book, looking for any possible clues. Lin Feng, come here and take a look at this, her mother suddenly called, holding an ancient book in her hand. Here are some records about different dimensions. Lin Feng hurriedly walked over and read the contents of the book carefully. The book details an ancient ritual that can open a portal to another space, but requires specific energy and runes. This is the clue we need, Lin Feng said excitedly. We need to find these runes. Chapter 10. No solution at all. They continued to search in the library and finally found the required rune pattern in a hidden corner. Lin Feng carefully wrote down the patterns and decided to immediately find the true locations of these runes. Let's go, Lin Feng said to his family and Spider-Man. Next step, we have to find these runes. They left the library and continued their journey to find the truth. Although the future is still full of unknowns and challenges, Lin Feng's heart is full of hope and strength. He knew that as long as he persisted, he would be able to find his parents, uncover all the mysteries, and return to the world they were familiar with. After Lin Feng and his family found the rune pattern in the library, they knew that the next action would be more complicated and dangerous. When they returned to their temporary residence, Lin Feng already had a new plan in mind. To ensure nothing went wrong, he decided to ask the Hulk to go with him. The Hulk's strength and courage will undoubtedly be a huge boost. Early the next morning, Lin Feng called Hulk and briefly explained the situation. The Hulk quickly agreed to his request, and the two made an appointment to meet in a wasteland on the outskirts of the city. Lin Feng came to the wasteland with equipment and maps and saw the Hulk already waiting. The figure of the Hulk looked particularly tall in the morning light. Yamada was firm and gave Lin Feng a lot of confidence. Thank you for coming, Hulk. Lin Feng shook his hand and said sincerely, this mission may be very dangerous. Hulk nodded, his voice low and powerful. It doesn't matter, we will definitely succeed. The two set out and followed the directions on the map to an ancient ruins, where an important rune was said to be hidden. On the way, Lin Feng felt nervous and expectant. He knew that every time he found a rune, he would be one step closer to the goal of rescuing his parents. The ruins are located in a deep forest, surrounded by silence except for the rustling of leaves in the wind. Lin Feng and Hulk walked carefully through the forest and arrived at the entrance of the ruins. It looks like no one has been here for a long time, Lin Feng whispered, looking around. Let's go in and take a look. They walked into the ruins, and the scene inside made people feel as if they had traveled to another world. Broken stone pillars, collapsed walls, and some ancient carvings tell the story of the former glory of this place. Just as they were carefully searching for the runes, a strange energy fluctuation suddenly came, and then, a mysterious figure appeared in front of them. It was a woman wearing a robe, with cold eyes, and holding a shining wand in her hand. Who are you? She asked coldly, her gaze sweeping across Lin Feng and Hulk like a sharp blade. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, then calmed down. We are here to find runes and rescue my parents. They are trapped in a different space. The woman's eyes softened slightly, but she still remained vigilant. Do you know how dangerous this is? These runes contain powerful energy, which cannot be easily controlled by ordinary people. We know, the Hulk began, but we must find these runes. This is our only hope. The woman was silent for a moment, seeming to weigh their words. Finally, she nodded slowly. Okay, I am the Scarlet Witch. I will help you, but you must obey my command. Lin Feng and Hulk looked at each other, then nodded in agreement. The Scarlet Witch led them towards the depths of the ruins, where a huge altar was hidden. There is an ancient stone slab placed in the center of the altar, which is engraved with complex runes. This is the first rune, Scarlet Witch explained. We need to use a specific ritual to activate it. Lin Feng stared at the stone slab closely, his heart full of hope. Then let's get started. The Scarlet Witch nodded and began to recite ancient spells, the wand in her hand flashing red light. The air around the altar seemed to be trembling, and the runes were gradually activated, emitting a dazzling light. Quick, put your hand on the rune, Scarlet Witch instructed. Lin Feng stepped forward, put his hand on the rune, and suddenly felt a powerful energy pouring into his body. He gritted his teeth and held on until the rune was fully activated. Successful! Lin Feng shouted excitedly, feeling that his body was full of power. Scarlet Witch nodded with satisfaction. Very good, this is the first rune. Next, we need to continue looking for other runes. They left the ruins and continued to move forward, following the directions on the map to the next location. Lin Feng felt filled with confidence and hope. Although the road ahead was still full of unknowns, with the help of the Scarlet Witch and the Hulk, he believed that he would be able to find all the runes and save his parents. On the way, Lin Feng and Scarlet Witch chatted about their respective experiences. Lin Feng learned that the Scarlet Witch also came to this place to find her missing relatives. The two people's mood became closer, and there was more understanding and trust between them. Thank you, Scarlet Witch, Lin Feng said sincerely. Without your help, we would not be able to complete this mission. Scarlet Witch smiled slightly. You're welcome. We all have our own goals. As long as we persist, we will definitely succeed. They came to the next marking point, which was a mysterious lake. The water of the lake is crystal clear, and there is a small island in the middle of the lake. It is said that another rune is hidden there. We need to cross the lake and find the rune, the Scarlet Witch said, and then cast a spell with her wand, and a shimmering path appeared on the lake. Lin Feng and Hulk walked carefully on the path, feeling as if they were stepping on air. Arriving at the small island in the middle of the lake, they discovered an ancient altar, also engraved with complex runes. This is the second rune, Scarlet Witch explained. It also requires a ritual to activate. Lin Feng put his hand on the rune again and felt a powerful energy pouring into his body. This time he seemed more calm, as if he was used to this feeling. The runes were successfully activated, and the lake surface shimmered with dazzling light. Lin Feng felt that the power in his body was getting stronger and stronger, as if his whole person had become different. Keep going, our goal is getting closer, Scarlet Witch said, with hope shining in her eyes. They left the lake and continued to follow the directions on the map to the next location. Lin Feng's heart was full of firmness and determination. He knew that as long as he found all the runes, he would be able to rescue his parents and uncover all the mysteries.